It's day 148, it's the beginning of week 22, and it's the Monday weigh-in. Welcome back to my big fat vlog. Hello guys, welcome back. Thanks a million for joining me. Right at the top of the video, I want to say thank you so much to everybody who's got in touch this week, wishing me well and checking in on me and seeing how I'm doing. I was pretty down last week, as I explained in last week's video, and essentially it was the anniversary of Mum's death, and Monday would have been my dad's birthday. So and I lost Dad last year, so it's kind of it's a tricky time of year for me, but I really appreciate all the support and the nice comments and the messages and stuff, so thanks a million. A week later, what a difference a week makes, kind of thing. I booked last week off after Monday. I cancelled everything through the week. All of my lessons and all of my admin that I had booked to do is all been moved forward to this week. I just had a week off, took some downtime. Ash was working away, so I had the place to myself, and I just basically cleared the decks and made sure that I didn't have anywhere to be or anything to do for a week, just to try and get my head straight. And it's worked a treat. I've had a really good week. I got loads of stuff done. I got some jobs done around the house I've been meaning to do for a long time. I tidied up my training area so that everything's a bit more efficient. I've organised some stuff to sell, to make some space and do a bit of decluttering and minimalising and what have you. So that's been really cool this week. Also, food-wise, my food during the day, breakfast and lunch, I made, and they were all fine. And then dinner, I ate out every night pretty much. Got takeaways every night, not nearly every night, every night. Which has had a negative impact on my weight. But to be honest, I think it's more important to feel better. And I needed a week of not really stressing about anything. Trained all the days I was supposed to. I've did my 4 weight sessions for Paul that he's laid out, and we got a really good bike ride in on Wednesday. We went out and did 2.5 hours on the bike. Can't remember the distance, about 50k I think, maybe more. And that was just brilliant. That's the best performance I've put in on the bike since I started training with the turbo trainer, and I didn't feel like I'd embarrassed myself on a ride with somebody who's actually a really good rider, So I think I held my own okay. I feel like I did anyway, so that's really cool. The upshot of that weight-wise, so weigh-in day, is that I'm 3 pounds heavier than I was a week ago. To be honest, I think that's a cumulative over the last couple of weeks, because the week before wasn't great either. So that puts me at 15.5. I've learned quite a lot about myself this week. One of the things there's a couple of things I've learned. I've been listening to Mark Beaumont's book, Around the World in 80 Days, about him circumnavigating the globe on a push bike in under 80 days, which is super inspiring. And I met Mark, in fact, me and Paul went to meet Mark actually a few years ago, and watched one of his talks, and the guy's just uber inspiring, but he kind of got me back into cycling. And one of the things, or a couple of things that he says, one of them is you never do better than the plan you set out at the beginning, which I found really intriguing as a concept. Like, you can't expect to do better than the plan. And the other thing that he kind of makes mention of is the key is keeping the plan simple. And I really like both of those ideas. I'm not concerned. You could argue the point about doing better than you plan, but I like both of those ideas. And I think the problem that I've had recently is I haven't had a target or a plan. I've had a training plan, but I've not had a strict diet plan, and I've not had a strict weight target and plan. And a lot of people have sort of said, it's not good to have an arbitrary weight plan, which I kind of get, but it's also, I think it's as valuable for me to have a target that I'm aiming for as it is to have a healthy view and a healthy relationship with that target. So I've had one moment in my life where I made myself sick, and this was a number of years ago. I was on a juicing diet and I was losing weight really quickly, and I kind of fell off the wagon and got a takeaway and made myself sick afterwards, and kind of sat contemplating that for a couple of hours, because I'd never done anything like that in my life, and the idea of the weight target and the number that I was looking for had become this super important, all-encompassing notion. And I kind of recognised that for what it was in the moment that it happened. I've never done it since. It happened. It was literally like one of those things where I'm like, oh, that's really bad. And then it just kind of like scared the crap out of me that I could kind of do that. But I can see how that can easily happen. I was listening to a podcast with a female cyclist whose name escapes me, and she was saying that, like, literally she went from never having an eating disorder to doing that once, and then the next day she's got an eating disorder. And that's as easy as that kind of stuff starts. And I totally understand that because I was there. I had that moment and then I backed away from it. So I'm very mindful of having the weight loss numbers as a target. But by the same token, I need something that I'm aiming for, which is based in numbers and data. I don't know why, that's just how I'm wired up. So what I've kind of decided on is my average for my weight loss when I was sticking to my proper diet and training well. I'm probably not training as hard as I'm training now or riding as much. My weight loss was between 1 and 2 pounds a week on average. If I keep an average weight loss of 1.25 pounds a week between now and January, that means that a year after starting this vlog, I'll have lost 4 stone. That'll put me at about 177 pounds, somewhere between 170 and 180. And I think that's a good weight for me. I think with my build, my height, that is probably clinically still even overweight at that point. But I think with my frame and hopefully where I'll be with my training and my riding, in January, I think that'll be a healthy place for me to be. So that's going to be my weight loss target. I don't think 1.25 pounds a week is, I don't think it's too much. I don't think it's a dangerous amount. I think that's a reasonably responsible amount of weight to be expecting to lose if you're in a calorie deficit, you're eating well, and you're training. And that's kind of what I've settled on. So that's sort of my target. And that's an average. That's not a minimum or a maximum. So there might be 1 week where I lose 2 pounds and 1 week where I lose 1, 1 week where I lose none. But the average I'm looking at keeping around 1.25-ish, that sort of notion. So, and like I say, I know that having an arbitrary number to aim for can be a little bit, it can be dangerous. But we're not talking about 3 or 4 or 5 pounds a week in weight loss. I'm not doing a David Goggins and trying to lose a pound a day. I think 1.25 pounds a week on average until January I think it's maintainable. I think it's doable. I think it's reasonably sensible, and it makes me feel better about having a target. So the next couple of weeks of experimentation is going to be that. The new training plan is going brilliant. Paul's made some adjustments and I'm just following along. He's asked for some sort of videos as well of some of the exercises I'm finding tricky, where I'm doing split leg exercises. I've got one leg which is really very sort of confident and one that's not. And there's other exercises that I'm not that confident in doing, just movements that I've not done before. So I'm going to be sending him some videos and sort of asking for some feedback. He's asked for that up front, proactively. So I'm looking forward to sort of seeing how that goes. That's going to be cool. And that's pretty much the size of it. So I've put weight on, but God, my head's in a better place than it was a week ago. I've started writing songs again. I've probably penned, no lyrics, but just kind of chord patterns and musical ideas. And just that moment of tapping into whatever it is, wherever the songs come from, and actually finding that there's a light on there, and then, getting some ideas and putting them down. I've not been inspired to do that for quite a long time. So that's a really nice thing. That's worth the £3 that I've put on. That on its own is worth it. But just generally where my head's at. The other thing that I've learned about myself is I need to take proper downtime. I haven't done that properly. The downtime I was previously taking, I was doing other things on the days when I was supposed to be having a day off. And that doesn't work for me because I'm always on, I'm always switched on and doing whatever it is I'm doing. So the idea of kind of half having a day off doesn't really pan out. That's not going to work. So I need to be more strict with myself on the downtime that I'm having. And the third thing is I work really well in a tidy environment. This currently isn't a tidy environment. It looks pretty tidy on this shot, but if I was to pan around the room, it's chaos. So I need to get this place as squeaky clean and tidy as the rest of the house kind of now is, or certainly the ground floor now is, after last week's kind of efforts. So that's sort of where it's at. I'm really looking forward to getting out on the bike. I want to get a couple of rides a week in like we did last week. That was really good. And maybe some more riding per day. At the moment, the weights workouts are taking a lot out of me, so I've not been that bothered about trying to fit cardio in on weights days as well. I might try and get the odd one in, but generally speaking, I think that the hours on the bike can come from 2 big rides a week rather than trying to shoehorn time in on days when I'm weight training. I'm mindful of then maybe holding back on the reps with the weights because I know I've got a ride coming up on that day. I'd rather maybe separate the two things off, but I'll see how I feel. If I get to the end of a workout after an hour and I think, you know what, I've got some in the tank, I'll have a ride, then I'll do that if the time's there. So that's me. 3 pounds up, but God, my head's in a better place than it was last week. Thanks again for all of your support. Genuinely, it really does mean the world. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with where things are up to. So the plan, the plan for the next 2 weeks is to see if I can kind of average a pound and a quarter a week. If I can do a bit of as weight loss, if I can do that, I'll keep that going and see if I can hold out on that until January and get down to that kind of target weight. And that target weight might fluctuate in the meantime. It might go up as the fat starts to come off. I might decide that I need to be a bit heavier than that. I might decide it's lighter. But for now, the plan is £177 by January the 17th next year. And it's a simple plan. And it's a plan, and that will do. So I like that. Hope that all makes sense. And thank you for listening to my rambling. Sorry for going on. If you want to, it'd be really cool if you like, subscribe and comment and do all of that stuff. You can click on my face, it will appear here, and there's some more videos for you to check out there. Thanks for tuning in. Have a brilliant one. I will see you next week. Cheers.